do you want to talk about?
No, I'm talking about music.
Oh, no,
Can you,
no,
can
no.
you hum a few bars?
No, I'm not going to do that today.
Well, you're still welcome, Walter.
We practiced yesterday. Yeah, we practiced yesterday,
He
so we're a little
practiced
worn out.
yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, this is San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network, and you wouldn't believe who I have here. Probably one of the most elder Tejanos in the building, for certain. Walter Giudice. And that's not the way you spell his name. If you were to see the way it was spelled, you wouldn't be able to even pronounce it, right?
That's correct.
What's the deal with that?
It's Italian.
Italian.
My dad was Italian, so Del Giudice, that's our last name. So
Del, not
Del,
Vel, right?
Del Giudice. It's of the judge. Judicial, it comes from the word judicial.
I like judges. I do. I mean, I'm fond of judges.
Yeah.
30-year silver anniversary with your wife most recently.
Well,
How
31.
about that? 31?
Yeah, 31. Well, we dated 3 years before we got married, but
Okay.
we're 31 years already. April 10.
You know, that says something about a surviving musician, you know?
Yeah. it
Because,
does.
you know, how else are you going to get through something like this kind of gig?
Yeah.
They are our support, no?
I've lost some musicians due to the fact that their wives like, that's it, you're not playing anymore. And my wife was the opposite. Thank God.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Harlandale,
High school, 81.
81? A little higher on the mic, bro.
1981.
Dad gum. Now I can hear that Kriztal voice. The
Right.
Kriztal band is who he represents. And tell me about a little bit about that band.
Well, we started back in 1991, and we played for a while. And then my daughter came along, and I told the guys, hey, man, I've got to raise a child, you know.
Sure.
My wife was out to here, 9 months
I had
pregnant.
to raise myself. I was a
And
child.
It was a tough decision, but I just didn't want people, you know, hey, you know, you weren't there for me, Dad, you know, and I didn't want
Oh.
to hear that.
Oh, I have.
So she came along, and we played in 1991 for at least 6 years, I think, 5 or 6 years. And so recently I just called them up, the original members, but we couldn't get all of the original guys, but I got Candy and Freddie, Rizzo. They're Rizzo's from Natalia.
Now, cool.
Yeah.
And you're from, what is it? Is that Nico?
Michael,
Michael?
Medina Lake.
Medina Lake.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know where in the world that was at.
Like literally we live 2 minutes from the lake. So
Well,
you can hear the boats.
yeah, I've seen some posts, and it's beautiful out there, man.
It is. It's very
You're
peaceful.
a lucky dog, man, living out there. But you're originally from San Anto.
Yeah, I grew up in the south side of San Antonio.
South Sider, man.
Yeah.
You know, you have an all sider over here and a south sider over here. Now living on the outskirts of San Antonio.
Yeah.
And so, puro pinche Tejano.
Now it's
At
Tejano.
present.
Yeah. Now it's Tejano. I think it's coming back, you know. It's obvious this Fiesta week, you could see a lot of Tejano all of a sudden. I told my wife 8 months ago,
I saw AB.
I'm gonna get back into
Fiesta.
the Tejano
Hey,
scene.
shout out to the Selena family, man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
I don't know about anything else.
Yeah. We'll pray for them.
Yes.
But you know, I told my wife, Tejano's coming back, and I said,
I didn't think it had ever left.
Well, we had a few bumps on the way, you know, Selena, Emilio. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
Jimmy
That kind of bump,
Gonzalez,
sure.
Yeah.
There
And
are
those were
other kind
direct
of bumps,
hits.
ladies and gentlemen.
Those
We
are
don't want to
big
talk about that
bumps.
one.
Yeah, so we just decided to do it again, and I love rock. I mean, I grew up on rock and roll.
Well,
man.
that's a groove. That
Yeah.
leads me to, what was your original influence when you first got into music? Let's just go
The
all the way
beginning?
back. Yeah. Well, your very first, when you picked up the guitar, like, what was the one thing you were listening to that lit your fire?
It wasn't even listening to anything because I was 6 years old, but my mom wanted.
I was listening to the radio at 6.
Well, KTSA, you know,
Same
55
difference.
KTSA.
Yeah.
My mom wanted to learn to play the guitar, so my dad bought her a Fata Vasco from Mexico, and it was an acoustic, and she started to play it, but it hurt her fingers. So then she put it down, and there it was in the living room, and I said, Ma, can I pick up the guitar and try it? And she said, sure. And because of that, I just started learning chords and went to Southside Music. She got me a Mel Bay book, chord book, and
I used to love Southside music, man.
yeah. Mr. Carl Moore and his wife. Yeah, great people.
I can't say that I knew them personally, but
Oh, I did.
up the mic.
I knew them very well.
Listen, so how far back was this? What year would you say that
69,
you started that?
1969. Yeah,
I go back 64. I
Yeah.
go back 64, maybe even before that.
Yeah.
And I was born in 57.
I was born in 63, so
Wow.
yeah.
We're contemporaries still. We're contemporaries.
Yep.
So, your career span, we were talking about, which really kind of is the essence of this talk show. We were talking about some guys like Emilio, that you actually started off playing with.
I knew Emilio from Guitar Center. He was the guy behind the counter.
Yeah.
But I knew he was a rock and roller because I saw the hair. I said, "Man, I got to go check this guy out." And
And who are the other cats? Because you actually played with some of these guys. I mean, we're
Mickey Peña.
there you go. He's talking
Renee
about a rocker
Segura.
from Stone. He's
Yeah,
been on the show.
Dexter, all them guys, man.
Dexter's been on the show. Who's our drummer brother? Renee
Segura.
Segura. You've played with Renee as well, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah,
so-
great drummer.
What band was that you guys had started out back then?
That was Black Thunder.
Black Thunder.
That was 19 years ago.
And how long did you keep that thing together?
19 years.
For crying out loud, man.
That was a long time. Yeah.
And so you were the nucleus of that gig, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
but
much?
a lot of the guys like Jimmy Overman and Andy Narvaez, I mean, those were the guys that were, and Cole Brooks, he went back to.
How about Andy Garza? Did he ever play with you?
I played with Andy one time with Mickey and Renee and Val Mora. But
see, there's another one. Val is
Yeah.
a dear friend. He's a dear friend of the show and an integral part of it,
Yeah.
no doubt.
And so,
Augie Myers, everybody.
I played one time with Augie Myers. It was a funny story, but we'll talk about that later.
We'll have most memorable silly moments coming
Yeah.
up. But isn't that ironic how so many people come up, and that's what blows me away every time I do the show. By the way, it's unrehearsed, ladies and gentlemen. We don't rehearse for anything. It's raw talk. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
So early influence in rock was what? What band?
For me, it was Frank Marino, Robin
Not me.
Trower.
Robin Trower for sure.
Oh, yeah. Hendrix. I mean, I used to play Purple Haze almost every night,
And I don't get sick of songs like that.
No,
man.
you don't. Those are Led
Lacey
Zeppelin.
Love. She's another guest. Girlfriend plays some Jimi Hendrix and stuff,
Oh,
man.
wow. Yeah.
She plays all kinds of whacked out stuff from way back, and she's a young gal.
You can't go wrong with any of that music, man.
Right.
This is all rhythm and blues based.
I think she learns it from her dad.
Yeah, Frank Marino was like a big one for me. I mean, there was other bands, Rush, Scorpions, AC/DC, Judas Priest.
That's so far of a reach from Judas Priest to Tejano. What's up with that?
Well, when
Pay
Tejano
scale?
was hitting it, I gotta say it was the money thing, man.
Money,
because-
you got it. Let's talk about it.
The rock thing, we'd wind up playing in backyards, and then people were getting drunk and throwing beer bottles, and you walked out with maybe $10 in your hand.
Ouch. And then you spend it on tacos on the way home,
Right on.
and
right on.
you have no gas money.
No. And the Tejano was something that, being that my mom is Alvarez, her maiden name, I grew up with a lot of people in Austin that loved conjunto.
What was the very first song, Hispanic tune that you played, that you learned? I know mine.
Man. Well, I think I might have been like 13 years old. I was in 9th grade, and the tuba player, he had a band, and he saw me carrying the
Tuba
guitar.
player.
Yeah. He saw me carrying the guitar, and he goes, "Do you just carry that thing around, or can you actually play it?" And I
That's
said, "Yeah, I
calling
can
you
play
out.
it." He goes, "Well, whoop it out." So I whooped it out, and I started playing something. He goes, "Can you be at my house today, this evening, like at 5:30? I've got a band, and do you have an amp?" And I said, "Yeah, I got a little Alamo amp." And he goes, well, I said, "If my mom can bring me, I'll be there." I was only 13. So we started
My
practicing.
dad took me everywhere I went.
A mover el bote, la mucura, stuff like that.
A mover el bote.
Yeah, that was a cumbia.
Yeah.
So that had to be my very first.
I'd have to say mine was La Bamba. Second was
Yeah.
A mover el bote.
Oh, La Bamba was on the set list. Yeah.
Ay, a mover el bote.
That's what.
I mean, that's a cumbia from holy hell, guys. When you hear that, you got to get up and dance, no?
Yeah, it is. I mean, cumbias in San Antonio, you can't go wrong with them. They're the ones that people will dance no matter what.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's really all they want, don't you think, partner man? I mean, it's not, I don't think, enough to just watch a band.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays. I mean, you got to have a groove to kind of pick people up and move people on. For me as a drummer, it's integral to see a reaction. And that reaction would be get up and dance. If they've gotten up and danced, I've done my job.
Yeah.
If they don't get up and dance, you know, I've lost it somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
And it's my responsibility to bring that back. That's what I think about drummers. But
we got a lot of cumbias on our set this time, on our set list, because the cumbias you can time together, and the people, if they get tired, they just flake off. And once you see them flaking off, then you know it's time to go into a polka.
I'm flaking off. Huh?
Yeah, they start, you know, because most people will dance, but some people can't dance that long.
Sure.
They get tired.
Like me.
Yeah.
Pero
yeah,
puro pinche Mexicanos, that's what we do.
La
And
raza.
for me, it was Vicente Fernandez.
Oh, wow.
You know,
I saw him at
Mr. Charro.
The Alameda.
Yes,
when I was in school.
When he brought his horse on stage.
I was there.
Oh my gosh, that was something else. This cat used to bring his horse on stage, and he'd do tricks and make it lay down on stage.
Wow.
This stallion of a black horse that he had, right?
Yeah, and I think he had his son with him when he was real little.
No
His
me
son.
acuerdo. I was real little. I was
Yeah,
about
well,
the size of the boy.
Our thing was a school thing, a function where we went with the school on a bus, and we went to La Alameda downtown.
And so, yeah, Alameda. Do you remember the Texas theater downtown where you could get in for like 6 Pepsi bottle cups? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, but
Oh
I
my
remember
God.
the theater, yeah, the cameo too.
I'm showing my age, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about 7 years older than he is. And so I'm just saying, we used to be able to go to the Texas theater, Shelley Wachtendorf, Shelley Gregory out there. We'd go and pay 6 Big Red or Pepsi bottle
I remember
caps.
peeling the little plastic covers off the caps. I mean,
You-
that
you
I
would-
do remember.
You would present that as change and get in and see the movie, and they'd get you on the popcorn and the drink,
Wow.
which was really all cool. That was all fair,
Yeah.
you know. And Teen Canteen, man. What do you know about Teen Canteen?
I don't
Anything, or
know.
was that was beyond your year, right?
I don't know anything about that.
Wow. Except for you saw that poster where my band is at.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what
saw
did
the
that
poster.
say? Band of the month.
It was 1973. I know that. And I think it was a dollar or two to get in. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was $1 and then $2 on Saturday. Thank you, Sam Kinsey.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Sam is the bomb. He's done it all and then some. He started off as a DJ. And have you ever done DJ?
No, I like to perform.
You just couldn't do it, huh?
I can't do that for 4 hours. I love music, but I got to be a part of it.
Sure.
Yeah, and you know, there's nothing like getting on stage and seeing the crowd and getting the energy from them. That's what pushes you through the night. As a matter of fact, when you don't have that support, it's dead. So I always say thanks to the fans that are always there for us.
I
And
always
sometimes
say-
they're there every week. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
didn't I just see you last weekend?
Yeah. Well, that happened way long time ago también. But, you know, talk about the support. Who are the guys in your band presently? You mentioned a couple of them.
Yeah, well,
But if you just go down the line,
we have
drums,
6
who do you
guys
have on
total.
drums.
We have
That's a
Freddie.
whole family right there,
Oh,
man.
yeah, we are.
And a cousin or two.
We have very good chemistry. That's really what we
Oh, and
talk
they don't
about.
do any drugs. They
No.
don't do any alcohol. He
No.
brought me some Heineken today because I was just thirsty. I just was. And he was kind enough to bring that to me. So I'm grateful for you, Walter.
Yeah.
To you.
People know me, and people that know me, that you know, they'll always offer to, okay, can I buy you a beer? And I don't refuse it because
But you
the
don't
bar
drink.
needs to make money. So,
Sure.
but I'll drink a beer. I mean, I'm not saying I don't drink. I don't do drugs. None of the guys do drugs. But
That's great, man.
Freddie's on drums, Freddie Rizzo, and he does drums and vocals. Very good singer.
All right.
His brother's on keys and Candy.
Now that's a
Candelario
great
Candy.
rhythm section. When you have 2 cats on the rhythm section that
They're
are good,
brothers.
good use to each other. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Candy plays the keyboards. He plays 2 keyboards, not just one.
Guy
And he
out
plays
there.
accordion. He plays the guitar. He plays the bass. I mean, he sings, and he does everything. Then we have George De Leon on the accordion, and he's pretty much the same thing. He has Macias Bajo, sexto.
Yeah.
He plays bajo, he plays accordion, he sings, he plays little keyboards. I think he even has a drum
For
set.
all those that don't know what bajo is,
Well, there's two now. There's a 12-string guitar, which is Mexican bajo, sexto, and then there's the quinto, which
sexto
is
quiere decir que.
well, it's I guess it's 6. That's the name of it, but it's 12 strings, but it's 6 major strings and then 6 small strings, just like a 12-string.
Well, I thought that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, bajo sexto, and then there's the quinto, which is what I play, which is 10 strings. So five big strings and yeah.
I didn't know that existed. Ladies and gentlemen, I had no idea. Now, what's that called? The one with the 5
That's
strings?
the quinto sexto. The quinto, bajo quinto.
Quinto bajo sexto.
No, not sexto. There's the sexto and then there's the bajo quinto.
Maybe I'm just stuck on the sex part of sexto.
Right.
It sounded kind of kinky. I just thought I'd hang on to that for a minute.
It goes with the accordion like you wouldn't believe, man. It's like peas and carrots.
It goes with a squeeze box. That's all I know.
The squeeze box, yeah.
I mean, a different kind of squeeze box.
Right.
And was that all of them? Did you name them all?
Then on the
I thought there was a couple more.
we have the saxophone. He's awesome, man. Jesse Boteo.
Oh yeah.
Originally from Corpus, and George, by the way, is originally from Corpus, but Jesse grew up in Austin, Texas, and his father, he just joined us a few weeks back. He came all the way from
the
Austin.
whole family, huh?
That man showed up. He's 80 years old and
Orale.
got up on stage and jammed out. They did dueling saxes, man. And but Jesse plays alto and
double sax.
the tenor. Yeah, he does them both. And he's from Lavernia now.
I gotta ask those guys how their sax life is.
His sex life.
No, sax life.
I know. I heard you. I always joke around and say he plays the sexy phone instead of the saxophone.
Well, that's what I'll use that later.
So on bass, we have a very special guy that played with Shelly Lares, Rudy Perez.
Shelly.
Rudy Perez. And we're very honored to have him.
I really
on
love
board.
Shelly Lares, but she doesn't love me, so, all I can say is I love you all, man. I don't know.
She made her mark here in San Antonio.
Yeah,
and
she
surrounding.
retired. No, it wasn't Shelly Lares. It was somebody else. That other mariachi girl. I reached out to her and they said, "Hey, stay away from her." I'm like, I'm inviting her to a talk show. I don't want to date her.
Shelly is, I think she's semi-retired now. She's doing other things. But
I'm just semi-retarded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When they ask me, "Are you retired?" I'm retarded.
She's got albums. She probably live off of them albums.
I'm sure. And I'd still like to have you on, Miss Lares. I really would. But I was looking at your profile, and you guys, you were doing your exercises, your rehearsal at your pad, I guess, or somebody's pad. And you got these 3 freaking 100-watt Marshall heads. What's up with that crap, man? I want one.
Oh, I tell you what, man. And I sold some a few weeks back just to make room.
Yeah. I mean, there are amps everywhere. There's amp behind him, on the side of him, on the side of him, and then these 3 Marshall heads, 100-watt bad boys each. I mean, you're not ever going to use that.
Oh, I did, though. I did for 20 years, man.
For 20 years.
The Marshall, dude, we opened up for a lot of big bands like Saxon, UFO,
See, but, I mean, you started off with rock, and this is really something that's kind of keen to Mexicanos aquí en San Anto, ¿verdad?
I've seen people playing the bajo with the Marshall.
No shit,
I've
really?
seen some videos of La Sombra where they had a
that must
Marshall.
have a nice tone and quality to it.
Well, they say that a Marshall doesn't clean up, but it can.
I would disagree.
It cleans up, but it can get pretty dirty.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I love Marshall, but now I'm playing through a Fender because Fender
It's a much more compressed
it's
sound.
a clean sound. As a matter of fact, I can't get the sound that I want for the rock stuff that we're doing, and I can't get that tone because it's Marshall. It's a sound that I'm used to hearing.
Sure, that's where the distortion pedal comes in, no?
Yeah,
or
but
overgain.
It doesn't. It's like a clean distortion.
We'll talk about that later. We're going to talk about how to change and do your tonal qualities to get certain effects off of certain amps because they are different.
Yes, they
right?
are. Yeah,
they are. Now,
big time.
What would be to you as a guitar player the big difference between a Marshall and a Fender Twin? The biggest difference.
Well, I mean, the Marshall is loud and in your face.
I knew
it's
that was
loud
coming.
and in your
it's
face.
louder.
And then the Fenders, they're known for their clean tone, their reverb, you know.
Like the reverb.
Some
man.
have the tremolo.
Yeah,
My
and the
friend Ernie
tremolo,
Cruz is a huge Fender guy. Yeah.
That kind of tremolo, you know, that's
It's a tremolo.
signature. That's
Yeah.
signature for Fender.
Yeah, and like
The
Ernie's
reverb,
all
everybody
Fender.
has it.
Ernie plays all Fender, you know. I take it back. He has some Marshalls too, but you know, the way I know him, he's always played
Ernie
through
Cruz.
Fender. Yeah, he's
Ernie
played
Cruz.
through
He was
Fender.
invited to the show as a special guest, but he was running and he had some things to do. And he's a very busy man, believe me.
And a good guitar player.
And a great guy aside
Yeah, I
from
look
that.
up to
just
that guy big
just a
time.
beautiful person. No drugs in his game either.
No.
I really like that. You know, sooner or later, because I think a lot of people get trapped into that.
Yeah,
Especially musicians, no?
I've seen it a lot. Yeah, well,
And-
even
and
the big
something
guys.
about the artist. It's something about the artistry or something. I don't know if they have to feel like they need that to express themselves or what have you.
Some do.
Right.
Some feel that if they get in that zone, that they can be better, and they are. Some of them.
I would have to say
Some it goes the other way.
agreed. Yeah, and I would have to say agreed.
I've seen some falling on the floor, like we talked about a couple of days ago. That guy that was falling off the stage, man. You know, I think he was just drunk.
We were talking about on Facebook. I don't know which band. We
Neither
don't
do
know
I.
which band. But this guy was just simply walking up on stage, and I'm sure a lot of you Facebookers saw this. The guy's walking up on stage, and he's carrying a bajo or a sexto.
No, guitar,
it looked
just
like
a
it, just a
acoustic-
regular
acoustic
just a regular
guitar.
acoustic. I thought it was
Yeah.
a 12-string. Anyway, un gabacho, white boy. He's getting up there, and he just takes a step forward and leans into the left foot of which he has up, and that's when he hits the monitor.
Oh yeah.
Rolls over and ends up on the floor, almost hitting his head on the bottom of
Where he
BB
started.
cab.
He started on the floor, walked up on stage, and walked.
He made a big circle.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that
my
was
God.
that was funny. And then
Yeah. And
did you
embarrassing.
see the boss fall in
Oh,
Australia?
yeah, he missed a step. Yeah.
He missed a step. He was on his way up. Poor guy. He missed a step and he just went down. But like a true performer, like any of us would, they
like
picked him
Biden.
back.
Like Biden.
Just like Biden, our president, ladies and gentlemen. So they picked this cat up, Bruce Springsteen, and he grabs the mic and he says, "Good night, ladies and gentlemen." That's a true performer, guys. That's the kind of cat I like, man.
Yeah.
You know? But
Facebook, man, you see all kinds of stuff, and I saw that on Facebook. But I'm very thankful that we have Facebook, because it's a real good tool for reaching out to our fans that show up every time we play.
do you have a special fan? Do you have
Oh,
just
man,
one
we-
special fan, or
well,
you got a whole bunch?
I
of them?
remember my very first fan, Diana Tuck. You know, she's always been there. She's had some medical issues, so we don't see her as much, but she's always in our prayers. You know.
My
Her and
biggest-
her husband Joey were like one of the very first guys that would go to our shows. you
My
know.
biggest fans have been my pets. They like to sing. They like
my
to
God.
sing with me, for me, to me. It's just so cool. All of my dogs have been like that, especially Honey Ocampo. And she lost her life in housing, but that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
You
Rest
know,
in peace.
so I grew up doing pachangas, you know, initially, and the round circle of tios and tias that were playing and singing. And
Wow.
you remember that groove out in the country?
I never been a part of one, but I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them where they come to the house and they sing las mañanitas. And
Yeah.
somebody's
All those
celebrating a
songs.
birthday. You know,
Yes.
the parents, they feel so good when they see that. It makes the Hispanics are unique for that.
But it was just incredible. In my family, both sides, the Ocampo and Camachos, would sit around. By the way, that leads me to partner man Frankie Camacho, I think from Liberty Band. That's my cousin.
We're gonna be opening up for them, the Liberty
That's
Band.
my cousin. I don't know if it was Liberty Band, but I think it was.
They've been around for a long
Guitar
time.
player, man. Cat can play. Frankie Camacho, I love you, man. You know, you're my blood.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, buddy.
That's on mom's side, you know. But yeah, I lose my train of thought because we start talking about
Yeah, because there's
different
just so
grooves.
much. Music is so vast, man. You know, we just, and there's like people that also influence me here at a local level. like Robert Salinas, Ernie Cruz, Emilio, Guy Alfaro from Prototype, and Charlie Bravo. There's a bunch of bands that were starting about the time that we started. Actually, Prototype, man, they've been around like 20 something years now, 20, 21, 22.
Try 44.
Well, that's a long time.
That's old.
But you know what? They stuck with it, and like Duke, man, he's a rock and roll machine. He keeps on going, and they're playing everywhere. And we were 19 years, and we'd play, the Tonic Bar and the Booze Hounds and the Brooks Pub, and one place that I want to mention, a friend of mine, J.R. Rendon, he owns what used to be called the Joe's Volcano. So there for about 2-3 years,
Joe's
we were
was
playing
cool.
there, rock and roll at Soundcheck. And I tell you what, man, he's got it going now. It's a Tejano. He's a Desperado. He brought it back. Desperado 2.0.
Oh my gosh.
They've got a DJ. They got Tejano bands. I think they got Los Palominos are coming in. I mean, they've got a big deal going on there.
I used to go to Joe's Volcano and that other place just to hang on to a couple of gorditas.
He used to get me to bring
I would eat a gordita after it, not one of them, but at the restaurant.
They had
Get it out.
It's like a little a trailer outside.
I'm not Trump.
Yeah, they have food.
I love the gorditas. I can't stand it when he says that, man. He doesn't know a gordita from a slender Mexican.
Most of those people don't.
Cabron.
Yeah. You don't want to get into that, though.
We don't want to talk politics. Down with politics.
Yeah. But, that's a happening thing, and I'm hoping that he's hearing this because we want to get in there and play in there. He's going to have Flaco Jimenez there. Like in the next week, I think.
Doesn't get much more Tejano than that.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Jaime from Los Chamacos might be there. So, I think it's this weekend, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to try to go out there. He's a really good friend of ours. He used to run sound for a lot of bands.
Hey, what a trip, man. Jay Perez went over to Vegas for Fiesta.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I saw some kind of film, on Facebook that showed he was in Vegas, but he didn't play, I don't think, Fiesta this year. I don't know.
Maybe that's a good thing, man. I hope that, because the way they've been acting down there,
yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness. Y'all stop it.
Yeah.
Downtown,
yeah.
Y'all got to clean up your act, man. I know we're a bunch of Mexicanos that own that part of town. But kindly show some dadgum respect, okay, guys?
Oh, my God.
Not only to your police officers in the city, but to your fellow residents, man, for crying out loud, no?
Prayers to the families that, are related.
I don't know anything about what happened, but I felt this groove was going to be bad, regarding going to Fiesta this year, and I didn't, guys.
They're trying to bring La Semana Alegre back, which is a good thing because we played La Semana Alegre back in 1991. And it was, at the time I was playing in a band called the Firebirds with Jimmy and James Quiroga. And we opened up for Bandango. It was the Firebirds, Bandango, Mas y La Sombra.
Damn, that's a chingon freaking
That's
lineup.
headlining and a half.
That's headlining big
That's
time.
when Tejano was, in my opinion, at its peak.
Sure.
Yeah, and it was kicking butt.
Well, I'd have to say my thought process on that is when Jay, came out and then they would start that rumble.
Oh, yeah.
And then it would just get louder
Emilio,
and louder.
Ramirera, all
Yeah,
them
and then
guys. Oscar G, too. A lot of people don't remember him. We do a song by him.
Roberto Pulido.
Oh, my God.
All them cats, man.
Nobody can sing him, man. He's got a high voice.
But they're still around, man.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
still,
no, Roberto's
which I'm really ecstatic about. I'm just thinking, how in the world did they make it through? Because they were right in the middle of it.
They were born to do it.
Apparently.
They were born to do it. It was in their...
That's a good way to phrase it,
Well,
man.
because their parents, some of them, most of them, like look at Candy and Freddie, their father played alongside of David Lee Garza y Los Musicales. I mean, he was around in that era.
Yeah.
And Mr. Candelario Rizzo.
David Lee Garza would have like 20 guys in the freaking band. I don't know. Who needs 20 guys?
Yeah.
I think he had his roadies in his cover photo. I don't know.
Their father played the accordion, the chromatic accordion, which is what David Lee plays.
The heck is that?
It's just an accordion with 1,000 more buttons.
A chromatic, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's
chromatic.
like,
Is that made
instead
by
of
Hofner too?
whole notes and half steps, they're half steps. There's just so many notes. It's a scale. It's the complete scale.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, and we've been inviting him. Hopefully, he'll come and jam out with us. I hope.
Hey, that would be really nice.
It would
if
be
in
an
fact
honor.
that happens.
The sax player's dad came and jammed with us, so
Wow.
yeah, because that's how they get into it. You know, I don't know if Ram's father or Emilio's father, but a lot of these guys, they were influenced by their parents. Look at my granddaughter.
Sure.
She's only 3 years old, and she's already strumming away on the guitar.
Who's that little girl? Is that your granddaughter?
That's
I
my
put
daughter's
her,
daughter.
I couldn't help but put her on, when I was...
Rosalie.
Rosalie? Hi, Rosalie. How are you, darling?
I'm very proud
She's
of her.
just a sweetheart, man. She was sitting there and she's playing lead. She was shredding
She's
conjunto
extremely
guitar.
intelligent. She was talking at one, man.
She
I'm
was
telling
shredding,
you.
man, and she's so cute. She's so cute.
Yeah, we get them on the weekends, because the parents work, and we get to spend
Apparently,
time.
she doesn't look a thing like you, man.
Oh, no. You know what? We got a little monster truck, and we
Maze.
get out there.
It's a maze.
Oh, yeah. She likes to feed the fish and all that stuff, man. She's growing so fast, though. And then she's got a little brother, and Jasper, and he's only like 6 months old. So, yeah.
And so when
They're
you
adorable.
think back of the hard times, if you had any, I know we've had
We
some,
all
but
had hard times.
when you think back, what is the one thing that got you through that?
We went
Yeah,
through a
heavy
real rough.
sigh.
I mean,
Heavy sigh.
it wasn't so
I'm gonna have a
much
drink.
music related, but my wife had gotten rear-ended and she got injured and she was out for a couple of years, and so I kind of had to pull the cart. And out there where I live, man, we're
Nice
allowed to
boots.
shoot. Thank you. We're allowed to shoot hogs and stuff.
Nice
like
shirt.
That. Thanks.
It's a nice
My
vest.
wife, my wife bought it for me. She dresses me.
Like Danny Trejo, his wife dresses him too.
Yeah, I heard that. I
That's
saw
funny,
it. My
isn't
wife's
it?
very the same thing as her.
I don't even have a girl to buy me chones or anything, man. Come on. I'm
My
way
wife's been
behind the
very
groove here.
supportive of me all of my career.
How does
since I
that
met her.
happen, man? I can't believe like that. Your
I
favorite
said-
groupie would be your wife.
She's God sent. My wife.
Danny's too.
Let me tell you how I met her. First of all,
Val's too. Every guy that I know that is still married, they've got a blessing. And
It's rare.
One of a wife.
It's rare. My wife used to work across the street from where I worked at Orsinger Buick, and she was working at the bank, so she would cash my check. Long story short, I asked her out 3 times, and she said no, no, no. And then finally she called me back because I told her Tierra Tejana's playing at the Desperado. And it was on a Wednesday night. And she called me back and said, well, my girlfriends here said that I should go out with you. I said, okay, so we
What?
went out. Yeah, thanks to them.
Oh my gosh.
And we went out and we dated for 3 years and we got married. We've been together 34 years, almost 35.
Wow, that's a really cool story.
But I want to
man.
tell you one story.
I
real
need to
quick,
go to the
'cause I don't
bank and
wanna
pick up a
forget
broad.
This story.
Yeah.
So we needed a bass player. Candy says, I know a bass player, but he's a drummer.
This might be a most memorable silly moment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure.
So I said, well, what does he play, bass or drums? He says, well, he plays both. I said, well, we need a bass player. Does he have a bass amp and a guitar and stuff? And no, that's the only thing. So I had to go out and get a bass guitar, and then I needed a bass amp, but they were like $600. So my wife at the time was my girlfriend. She was only my girlfriend for 1 month. And she goes, well, why don't you go to the music store across the street, Music Makers, right there on San Pedro.
Sure.
And I said, they're $600. And she goes, well, let's go look at them. I said, there it is, PV 300 combo, rumbling amp, whatever. And she threw her credit card on the counter, man, and bought it. Wow. And I said, you know what? That's when I knew.
I would have returned it the day after.
The funny thing
and
about
gone to Vegas.
the funny thing is that
Sorry.
I told her that I was gonna pay her back.
What?
Yeah, well,
So you married her?
well, I married her and I never paid her back.
You couldn't. That's what I'm saying. You couldn't afford to pay her back, so you married her.
But I still have the amp.
There's a story for you guys. There's something to be said about that. Get a loan, hook up, and don't let her go.
I love you, Cynthia.
I think I love you too, man. I didn't even know her.
Oh, everybody loves her. She's a sweetheart.
That's funny.
You're gonna make me emotional.
Hey, and then I understand that she used to go to Gillies too, where I played, and she used to go there, and now
She
it's all
told
burned
me-
down. So she has that same history that I do.
She had girlfriends, and they would get in the car and
It's a
go
fun place, man.
Pasadena, Texas.
Yes,
And I understand you used to play there.
yes.
Yeah. So she used to go out there. I'd never been out there, but I heard about it. And it was in a famous movie.
Hello. my phone, my car. Did you?
So it was Urban
Cowboy, John
yeah.
Travolta.
Yeah.
Those were the days, spelled with a D-A-Z-E.
Yeah.
It was a complete and total days.
Yeah.
And where are you presently gigging? I mean, right now, you've got a whole bunch of things going on with some quinceañeras, and
We have some gigs
you've got
lined
some
up.
wedding.
And I got to shout out
By
to
the way, this is money, guys.
Sean Blanchard. You know, he gets us this gig at the Tower every year. The Hemisphere. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I want to go.
I called him. I said, "Hey, man, do they do Tejano? Because every year he, the rock. And
Sure.
then I said, "Hey, man, I'm coming at you from a different angle."
They had
He goes,
Stray
"Good.
Cats.
I don't have
Good.
a Tejano band."
Órale.
So he got us in there, So it's in October, and then I got to meet a guy through Gus Maldonado, and this guy's name is he's a DJ Chale, okay?
Chale?
DJ Chale.
Órale.
Chale.
You know, chale means no. When you ask somebody, hey, what's going on? Chale say. I said, no, man, not me. Albert loves to say that. Garcia?
He got us a gig at this church right there. I still call Durango. I mean, people call it Cesar Chavez now.
Durango.
There's a
Cesar
church
Chavez.
right there.
Yes.
So we're going to be playing with the Liberty Band there. Si Dios quiere.
The church San Fernando or the other
No,
one?
it's the one by the Holiday Inn, right behind the Holiday Inn.
Oh, okay, that church. Yeah, that's a beautiful place.
Yeah. Immaculate Heart of Mary, I think.
Yeah,
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, that's a very nice place. I mean, actually, I saw the steeple on fire at one point.
Oh
I mean, when I drove by, I do a lot of business downtown by the police department. Anyway, driving by, and the steeple was on fire at that church.
I want to say something. Thanks to them, man. They're keeping it under control downtown.
Well, praise God. Yeah, the Seguro. I mean,
Shout out to the SAPD.
Our churches, and SAPD. Yeah. Our institution there, our local government right downtown, they're all to be respected, whether or not you want to play their game or not.
Amen.
They're there for a reason, guys. And a lot of it is civil and to deal with your uncivil and unruliness. So, just be good to yourselves and spare yourself a fine.
Yeah.
Because they're always
you
right.
Said that. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they
don't
get enough credit. They don't.
No, they don't. My brother was SAPD.
Yeah, I have a friend.
But so I know. That's why I know that the sacrifice that he put out, not only as an elder brother and as an example of good truth and righteousness, he was also balls to the walls. You didn't want to mess with my brother. I've often said, you didn't want to meet my brother. I'm glad that he's retired.
Yeah.
And not retarded.
God be with them always, all of them people.
But this brings us to a thing that I've termed as most memorable silly moments on the show. And so we're going to move on into that forum, which has made the show a really good staple. And so what would be your most memorable silly moment? Look, we can come
First
up
of all,
with a
there's so
couple of
many,
them.
so I'm going to come up with one right now because if
Okay.
not, I'll be here all night. So
We intend that.
I had, during the era where I had Black
You can spend the
Thunder,
night.
I
Ernie says that to me all the time. Rawa, what's going on, man?
I had lost musicians in the band, and I had a gig the following Friday. And so this is where I met Mickey Peña. So I got his number somewhere, and I called him up. I go, hey, are you a bass player? He goes, well, I play guitar and I play bass.
Yeah, he is.
So I
Yes.
said, you got anything going on Friday? And he goes, no, man. I said, do you have a drummer? Do you know any drummers? He goes, oh, yeah, Rene Segura, man. We've been playing together 20 years.
Oh, my goodness.
I said, good. Y'all are already tight.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. It's a rhythm section.
And then he goes, wait a minute. So do you have a singer?
Bass and drums is a rhythm section, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Bass and drums keeps everybody together, and the rest of the guys just sort of follow in. And yeah, they do their leads and they do their stuff, but it's the bass and drums that is the nucleus of all songs, I believe.
So then he goes, wait a minute. Do you have a singer? And I said, you know what? I'm working on it. He goes, you need a band. And it wasn't rehearsed. He said, send me your set list.
But you sang? Why wouldn't you be the singer?
I wasn't the lead singer in the rock band.
Oh, no?
No, I had to
I
find
started
a
off
singer.
the lead singer in my band.
No, I never claimed to be a singer ever. I'm a mediocre
did.
guitar player.
Wow.
But so I said, I think I got a guy.
She looked damn good, man.
and we show up at the Speedway Sports Bar, which I played there for 18 years.
Speedway.
Every month for 18 years.
Dad,
before
God,
COVID
you
killed
really
it.
milked that, huh?
Oh yeah, every month.
18 years out of the 19
And we never
years?
skipped a month. We always
Oh,
played
shit.
every month for 18 years straight. I mean,
Damn,
it was
that
crazy.
gig must have paid, huh?
Yeah, it did, but you know, I mean, it had its ups and downs. You know, you
Sure.
had to try to get the people to go in there.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and it's
so
always conducive to
we
that.
show up to the gig, and I go, "Hi, I'm Walter. I'm Mickey Pena. Oh, how you doing, Mickey? Nice to meet you. Oh, this is Renee. Hey, Renee, how you doing? You must be the drummer. Yeah." And then I said, "Well, this is Jonathan Serrato was his name," and so we all shook, and we had never practiced. We just did the show, and it was incredible. I mean, phenomenal, dude. It was
Yeah.
like one of those deals where it was a miracle. It all
Yeah.
came together. It was badass. I mean,
Wow.
oh yeah, dude. And we wowed the crowd, man. And so we started playing together, you know. And doing
every
things.
other night was terrible, huh?
No, it got better with time, dude. I mean,
was just saying,
unfortunately, we had a lot of
sometimes
musicians.
I thought you just got lucky.
Yeah, with them guys, they
No,
had their stuff
They make
down.
their own. Yeah, they make their own way. Renee and Mickey, all those cats.
And you
They've been
think
doing
he's-
it for so long.
You think he's good on bass? He's really a good guitar
Oh
player.
hell, he's a great lead
Yeah.
guitar player,
Oh,
and he
hell yeah.
was and always has been great on bass. He started
And he
off
sings.
on that, and he sings too. Yeah,
And Renee sings too. You know, he's like that ZZ Top. You know,
they call him what, Frog?
Froggy, the frog.
The Frog. And what was the other nickname that you told me about?
For Renee,
Yeah, something about Chop Chop, or I don't know what the hell.
No,
it was.
no, he was always been the frog, and he does the ribbit.
I didn't know him to do that.
Every time I would see him in the beginning, I would ask him to do it. You know, ribbit.
You know, and it's funny the way he and I met, and this isn't the most memorable silly moment, but then again, it might very well be. My bass player, Rick Rodriguez, Rip, he passed away on me. After Crystal Winter broke up, and I would go on to play with Home Cookin' and Gillies and a couple of other bands, I did my rounds, you know, of country, rock, you know, conjunto, funk. I had to play everything. I just felt that I had to break out to do that.
The Cotton Eye Joe.
Right? Yeah, Cotton Eye Joe, we talked about that one. I might say that. You know, in fact, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go to the most memorable silly moment, because I don't want to goof this up. At Gillies, we're playing Cotton Eye Joe, and we were talking about this earlier on, and the fiddle player, of whom is shown on my page playing, and he would keep telling me, faster, 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 and he's burning up the strings on his rosin bow. He's burning up the strings, and fast, fast, fast. I'm like, no, too fast, slow down. He's no faster, faster. There was something to that, ladies and gentlemen, but that night, people were dancing, going so fast that all of a sudden one couple falls right in the center of the dance floor. And the next couple that didn't see them stumbled on them. And the next couple stumbled on them. Before too long, you had like about 18 limbs just rolling around, you know, on the dance floor at Gillies. And if you had seen the dance floor, you would think, this is too big to be happening here.
Pile of people.
But they're all laughing. And they're all having fun.
They were having a good time. Yeah.
I was like, this can't be happening. But really, in reality, they were having
That's
fun.
what makes it
rolling
funny.
Around. Yeah, that's what makes it so funny.
Yeah.
So, you know, little left to be said. I was gone shortly thereafter.
We played the Cotton Eye Joe. It's always a fun song, you know. They don't do it anymore, but back then it was like the line dance that we have nowadays.
Yeah, and it was funny. We could do the Cotton Eye Joe just playing on guitar and
it was a
and
standard
bass
back
and-
then,
right?
you know. It was a standard, yeah.
And so you didn't have to sing anything.
No, it just fiddled, like fiddle.
Yeah, it's just kind of, so you do some fillers, right?
Yeah.
I know my brother put on the phase shifter, and Brother Bob Ocampo would do the, you know, the
Now that
fiddle
I remember, I
parts.
used to play the lead part too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what he did.
Yeah.
But he would add a
I
phase
forgot
shifter
about
to
that.
it, a boss phase shifter, and it sounded
Yeah.
really dynamic, I would say.
Yeah.
Dynamic. So do you have any other most memorable silly moments that you can think of? Because I know there's a lot of them. In my case,
Well, I got a real quick one.
go ahead.
We were playing in Nixon, Texas, and it was
Well,
Maurice's.
that's already funny.
Maurice's.
Nixon, Texas.
And
No, not Nixon.
we were going to open up for Augie Myers.
Nobody got that.
And so what happens, he shows up, and we're already set up, and he comes up to me and goes, "Are you Walter?" I go, "Yes, sir." "You must be Augie Myers." He goes, "Yep." He goes, "My band didn't show up."
Oh, shit.
And the next question was, and
Not
I
a
was
good thing
just
to do to Augie.
waiting for it. He goes, "Can you help me out through maybe a song or two?" I go, "Hey, baby, ¿qué pasó?" He goes, "Yep." Yeah, man, things happen, that's funny, but it's not, and there's reasons, but, and this place that we played at, we went, it was supposed to be a wedding. Oh, no, I take it back. It was a quinceañera, a debut. This was with Cristal. We were going through
this is a different memorable
this
moment.
is a funny, memorable
See how
moment.
it happens?
And we went down this cornfield, and the guys are all in a row in their vehicles. Cornfield.
That's already
Following me.
funny.
This was also in Nixon, Texas. So and then the lady says, take a left, and then you take a right, and then there's another cornfield. Anyway, I get there, and there's this old barn, and I'm scratching my head, and I said, this cannot be the place. So I walk up to it, and the whole place was leaning to the right about a foot.
Oh, my.
So the guys were like, nah, this can't be it. And Candy was like, you got to be kidding. This ain't it. So I opened the door, and I had to drag, and you could see the line from where it'd been dragging on the floor. And I walked in, and there's all the streamers, the balloons. I said, man, you're not going to believe this, but this is it.
Wow.
And so we go in there.
But you got to love a place like that.
The whole floor was shifted down, like a whole, like 1 foot from here to there. I guarantee it was a foot. Wow. And we walked in there, and I said, why do you have 3 security guards? She goes, you never been here? I said, no, this is the first time. She goes, it'll be standing room only.
Oh, my gosh.
She was not kidding, man, because out there in the middle of nowhere,
yeah.
people come from everywhere.
That's a groove. That's a groove.
When they find
know
out
one barn,
they showed up, and I swear, man, people they were standing all the way around the place.
wow.
Yeah, it really happened, and that's why I knew that there was a reason for 3 security guards. Like, what happens here? People get killed?
Oh, my gosh. Green Hall for me. Green Hall, November 2017. I show up with my show and my cam, and there's this little-known guy, Delbert McClinton, is playing that night. Mm-hmm. And just a fabulous show. I end up recording the whole dadgum show. People from Green were saying, oh, you can come in, just you can't film anything. I was like, no. I started filming. I started interviewing, guys, I forget her name. Anyway, radio personality from New Braunfels. She's on my page. The interview is on my page as well. And so I interview her, and then I go to interview the guys and the stagehands, and I think that's what turned them for me and said, well, let's go ahead and let them film Delbert.
Let them slide.
And I'm the only one that's filmed the entire Delbert McClinton concert. Is on San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network page, on Facebook, on YouTube. And, I'm just, that was really funny because nobody gets filmed like that.
No, they pulled some strings for you, those guys.
Well, they just liked my attitude.
Oh, yeah.
I had a devil may care.
That's half the battle.
I had a devil may care kind of attitude, and I said, I'm just here to help. I'm just here to, nobody's ever interviewed your sound man? No. So I started with Johnny and then his other buddy.
Oh, that's what made him feel good.
Yeah, but nobody has ever interviewed a sound man. And these guys were telling me all about the equipment and this and that. And
Ed, you ain't nothing without a sound man.
Oh, for crying out loud. We had a couple of them. I lost mine, Johnny Lopez, John Lopez. He's passed away as well. But Freddie,
I know
Rhino.
a real good one, Mark Rodriguez, and our JR from Soundcheck.
Well, we have two engineers on this show. They're not here today. This is a Monday.
Yeah, doesn't feel like a Monday.
No, it doesn't. It feels like a Saturday.
It's fiesta.
It still is. They're still cleaning up. Ambrose, I spoke to him today, and he had such a run with Fiesta that he's cleaning up his whole week. He says tomorrow he's thinking about getting a 6-pack, drinking it all, and staying asleep until Wednesday.
Oh, God.
Because he's so
And we
tired.
still got another week of it, right?
Huh?
We have this whole week.
No, it's over.
Oh, I didn't know that. I hadn't even gone down there. I mean,
No. I wasn't.
we used to go
either.
down there years ago.
Last year I went.
It was safe, but now I don't know.
Well, last year was more COVID kind of conscious, conscious, and actually it was the best time to go because there weren't all that many people.
Yeah.
But it was still fun. You made it. You make it what it is, no?
We played one year. We played and we
But
opened up
this
for Los
year-
Chamacos down there.
This year, Los Chamacos. That means
Yeah.
the little guys.
They're conjunto. You know Los Chamacos, right? Jaime de Anda. I mean,
I don't
Yeah,
know
how many
them
done?
personally.
Yeah.
I have a chamaco. I mean, I do. His name is Edward Ocampo Sr.
Right,
I'm
right,
junior.
right.
I'm senior. Sorry.
that's why you have that senior on there.
Yeah. And did you know that there is no such thing as a senior or a junior? Did you know that?
No.
That's just something that we made up
Oh wow, I didn't
to
know that.
identify the elder.
Oh.
But in all actuality, my name is just Edward Ocampo, and my son's name is just Edward Ocampo.
Yeah.
His name is not junior, and my name is not senior. But that's how we, as a society,
So you don't have a middle name.
Albert.
Albert, okay.
Albert with an E.
Albert, with an E.
E-E-O.
Oh, wow.
E-E-O.
Yeah.
My mother and father were very poetic. They named my brother, my elder, Jose Juan Ocampo. That's J-J-O.
JJO.
And then brother Bob was Robert Roy Ocampo, R-R-O.
Wow.
And then me, Edward Elbert Ocampo, E-E-O.
Oh wow.
My parents were very poetic,
Yeah.
and
I only have
they
two
named
brothers.
us after the Kennedy brothers,
I have two brothers.
Joe, Bob, and Edward.
Oh.
Sorry. In case you didn't know.
Eric used to run sound for us. My brother Eric, you know, and he plays guitar too, you know. And then I have a younger brother Dino, which Dino can run sound too. They're all inclined that way.
Well, sure.
Musically inclined.
Once you're able to have an ear to hear.
Dino loves to sing, you know. Like my dad was an opera singer because
Wow.
he's from Italy, and I think he rubbed off on all of us. And I always tell people, I wish I had half of my dad's voice. We just lost him in June of
Oh,
last year.
sorry.
Yeah.
That's always tough. I lost
But you know
mine
what?
in 71. He's still alive.
My dad
And me.
always sang. He always sang opera. And we grew up listening to that, you know. Enrico Caruso, Luciano Pavarotti,
Who?
Andrea Bocelli. You know,
Huh?
you don't know none of those guys?
No.
Oh, you
That's
know,
all foreign language.
they're-
That's
They're
French
like the
to me. I don't know.
Beethovens of opera, you know. They're
Operatic. I mean, I
Yeah.
love opera. Don't get me wrong.
We
But
grew up with
Italian?
that because my
No.
dad was Italian, and we grew up with that influence. And I tell people, I never had singing lessons, and I don't consider myself a singer. But my dad would tell me, "Oh, this note you have to use your diaphragm. This note you have to back here."
What?
Yeah, and a lot of
All
a
of
lot
my
of people
notes
sing
came
here.
out of my head. I mean, they just came out of my. Maybe that's why I always had a headache.
Well, if you don't use your body correctly to sing and project, you're not gonna do well.
Yeah.
A lot of people sing
did
like
well.
here, and then by the
I
end
just
of the
had a
night,
headache. I mean, I did well. I just had a headache.
by the end of the night, they don't have a voice left. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
Well, I
then
can
look at
understand.
Klaus Main. Oh my God, he's like
Who?
my Klaus Main from the Scorpions. You know the Scorpions.
Oh, yes, of course.
The most beautiful voice in the world, in my opinion. You
Uh-huh.
know, he's other than Freddie Mercury. you
Yeah,
know.
Freddie Mercury is
There's,
solid.
there's
I
a
love
lot
that.
of guys. Led Zeppelin, you know, Robert Plant. You know, there's so many greats. But you know, some of them are gone. You know.
Well, you know, at this point in the show, we want to do some shout outs because we're about ready to round up. And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
if you had anyone that you want to mention right now would be a good time to give a shout out
Well,
to.
my mom and dad,
Oh, there
you know,
go.
for always
That's so solid.
being supportive. That's how it started. You know, my wife, my daughter, Gabby, the musicians that were in Black Thunder, which was Andy, Jimmy Overman. I don't know if you met Jimmy, but
I know him, the man.
Cole Brooks. Yeah, he was from Ruidoso. And Andy was from Falfurias, I think, and Jimmy was from here. But Jimmy was Japanese. You know, his mom was Japanese. All those guys made it happen for Black Thunder. When I was in the Firebirds, it was Jimmy or James Quiroga. I still talk to him, you know. That was like 40 years ago. And before that, Chemo and Felipe Leal, man. I used to play with them. They had a band called Craze. And
I still am
you know them?
crazed. No.
You are
just,
crazed.
Just the crazed part. I'm sorry, but no.
I want to send a shout out over to some of the bars too, like
There you
Billy Silva
That's our
from
venue.
Squeeze In. You know, those
Squeeze in the crying cake.
those guys believe in us and they hire us and they take a chance because you don't know, it could be a rainy ass night, you know.
Yeah.
And
But ain't nothing like a cumbia and a polka to get you up moving, man.
That's true.
You know, come on. You know, you can play all the rock you want and all the great songs you want,
yeah,
but there's nothing like a polka and a cumbia to get you grooving, man.
the people from like the trap where we started, a lot of those bars they're no longer there. The Brooks Pub, the
Squeeze.
Steer,
The Steer,
that was like one of our stomping grounds. But
Club Sting.
but going
Rock
back to
and
the
Roll
Tejano
Club,
era, we
Maine.
were playing at Cowtown, we were playing at Mendiolas, we were playing at the Royal Palace. Those
Shout
are
out to Royal Gestures with that said.
oh yeah. And
Danny,
a lot of those
get out
bands, the Latin Breed, thanks to them, we were influenced by their music. And that's why we are the way we are, and we do the songs that we do, and we try to mimic what they did, But the trick is to come up with your own style,
Sure.
and that's what sometimes people can't figure out.
I don't know that Kriztal Winter ever copied anybody or anything. We definitely followed top 40 charts, and we picked out the best top 40 groove that fell into what we wanted to do, which was rock, but yet versatile. So a lot of the songs like Rocky Mountain Way, for example,
We
back
did that
then
song.
nobody was playing it.
No,
But that groove of Joe Walsh, I mean, you hear Rocky Mountain Way, you just can't help it. You want to get up and groove.
They dig it, man. They
It's just-
dig that song.
you got a little slide guitar going on.
Joe Walsh going on there.
It's
I
rock.
remember hearing the Triumph
At its
version.
finest.
A lot of people don't remember hearing the Triumph version
Triumph version? No,
of
I didn't. I never
Rocky
heard
Mountain Way. Oh hell yeah!
it. Nuh-uh.
I got to see Triumph when I saw Frank Marino, which was 1978 at the Convention Center. That was a long time ago, but it was Triumph and Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush.
Now, as far as my shout out goes, I would have to say both Mom Ocampo, she's
Yes.
still with us, Dad Ocampo, for everything that they did for us, the sacrificing of which they did
Amen.
willingly. They were always entertaining all my friends. And my son, Edward Ocampo, Jr., he has been my life. And I don't think that he even realizes how much he impacted on my life, because I was just a kid when I had him. I was 18 when I had my boy. And so I was just a child trying to be a father, thinking that I was father enough. Wrong. You can't be a dad until your time is right. I kind of forced the issue, and then I suffered the consequences. Really, I don't think I was as good a father as I could have been, but I don't think I was as bad as father as many others had been.
Oh yeah,
At least I stayed with my boy until he got married and got him through college.
you were a good father.
And he's a smart man, and he's still the love of my life. So I got a call from him yesterday, and that's always exciting, to have that happen and to come full circle on certain things. We've never left each other. We just kind of had to separate and let each other go our own ways for a moment or two.
That's
But
awesome.
my
That's
loss
awesome.
was my 3 grandchildren, which is Gigi and Johnny and Eddie the Third, and naturally Biz Ocampo, his lovely wife. So shout out to them in Lytle, Texas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, a beautiful place out there.
yeah.
Almost as nice as
our,
yours.
our keyboard player, his wife is Natalia.
Natalia,
We used to
same
play in
difference.
Lytle.
That's right down the ways.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's the
connected.
same little
There's,
area.
right across the bridge.
Natalia, Divine,
the tracks.
Lytle, those are all in a row.
Right.
Yeah.
Castroville is all there. So once you hit Castroville, you hit all these
Other
small
ones.
towns that just
The Hennas,
about a mile and a half, 2 mile away from each other.
Hondo.
What is that? I can't remember. There's a high school there.
Where though?
Well, they're in Castroville. What do they
Oh,
call
Medina Valley.
Medina Valley.
My daughter
but
went
plan out
there.
loud. ¿Cuántas veces?
The Panthers.
Se me fue la onda. I mean, really, I just, I love Medina Valley, and I support them just like I do Edison High School, Fox Tech, now Harlandale.
Yeah.
And who knows from this point on as to where we're going to go and what we're going to do. But we're branching out. I've got a new marketing director. Shout out to Miss Debbie Wood. She's out there, and she's just going to help. Her husband was a fabulous jazz player, and they came over and visited with me yesterday. Cool. And we had one of the most fabulous conversations. I wish I had recorded that. But, it wasn't really meant to be. That wasn't a talk show there. She's not really a musician, but she's the brain behind it.
Oh, she knows the music, yeah.
Yeah, she
A
knows.
shout out to Johnny Ortegon, man. Yeah, he's running a little radio station, but it's more like on the
Ortegon.
Johnny Ortegon.
Órale, Johnny, ¿qué pasó?
Yeah. He was gonna play with us, but he was just too busy, man. And he was a guitar player, but we needed a bass player, but he was there. He was ready and willing, and thank you for that, Johnny. We'll never forget that.
Most of the guests of which I have on, I get to play with. So you'll be able to see me playing drums with these guys, Kriztal, at some point in the future. We don't burn it out.
Drummer's left-handed, though.
Yeah. The left-handed gig is no big problem. We're going to do that, too. That's no big deal. So out of everything, the burning desire, my burning desire or my burning thought process to anybody that's wanting to play music is never give up. Yeah. What would be your bit of advice?
I tell people all the time, your instrument, if you don't practice your instrument, it's not going to do anything for you. You got to practice your instrument, whatever it is, if it's guitar, bass, drums.
So long as you don't get kicked out of the apartment.
I used to practice every day, hours. I'll take you a real quick story. They interviewed Michael Schenker, which we opened up for him twice. Michael Schenker had problems with his hands. And he went to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Well, what do you do for a living?" He goes, "I'm a musician. I'm a guitar player." Well, how many times a day do you play? And he goes, "Well, I practice 14 hours a day, and I play almost every night." He goes, "That's the problem, But look how good he is.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would say
that's called tit
practice.
For tat.
Practice, because a lot of guys, they want to be guitar players, they want to be this and that. But they don't want the burn. They don't want to get in there and put the time into it.
There's a bit of a sacrifice. There's a bit of frustration too when you're learning. When you're learning, there's a bit and you just got to get over it.
I say that the guitar saved me from going down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Because all the guys that used to live down my street, man, they wound up in prison.
Wow.
But I told my mom, I said, "Mom, I'm just gonna stay here at home and I'm just gonna play the guitar, Eddie Van Halen, Boston." And I would just practice. But a lot of people, they want to go out there and rock and roll, but they don't want to put the time into it. So I would say practice your darn instrument.
And then a shout out to Fitzgerald's. I don't know how many people that they have helped, but they certainly help people like Ken Slavin, the Number 3 Dinners, and, Nightcrawlers, and who's that other little known band? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Emilio Ledesma.
No. Emilio, he's there too.
Yeah, he's there.
But,
he's running the show now, I think.
Henry Brunn, man. Henry Brunn. They put on the best Latin show, and I got an opportunity to play with Henry that night. It was a year ago to this day that we did Fitzgerald's, and we did it on a Sunday. Wow. And several fans came out. It was okay. It could have been better, but it was, just shout out to Fitzgerald's because they take care of so many people. They work well with the community of musicians of which we have. Yeah. And I think that's integral.
Anybody that promotes music, whether it be rock, Tejano, country,
I just wanted to change up the groove because they're known as rock, So I wanted to bring in jazz and everything else. And she was even blown away at the fact that we pulled that off.
Man, you have a jazz
Nothing
community.
like versatility.
You have a jazz community.
Nothing like versatility in the city of San Antonio, ¿verdad?
Oh, yeah. That's the only place you can go.
You haven't spoken Spanish, not a one word.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can speak Spanish. ¿Qué quieres que diga?
See,
I'll tell you one thing. In San Antonio, it's like a melting pot. You got Tejano people dancing Tejano in the same venue, and then a rock song will come out on the jukebox, and then a country, and everybody gets along. There's no fighting.
And George Strait somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. So we'll be probably playing over at the Squeeze In. It's all Tejano en conjunto. We play some country. With
so you don't need Fiesta to go out and dance, guys.
I've got a wireless. I can go out there and dance with them too. On my guitar, I got a wireless.
That's cool.
I used to dance with my wife all the time. I still do. Oh yeah.
Wow.
I've gone out there and danced with her, but at that time I had a cord. So now I have a wireless, so I can go 100 feet that way.
Wow.
And it still plays. It's a miracle.
Well, that's fabulous, man.
That's technology.
Well, yeah, technology. Yeah. And with that said, I think that concludes this session of San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network. And I just want to say something real quick, and that is go out and go do something good for somebody today, Because we're out to change the world one day at a time, no?
Yeah, and one
that's
person
really
at a
how it
time.
is.
And thanks for having me, Ed.
You're very welcome.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I'm
You're
honored.
Very welcome. Yeah, wrong arm.
I've never
wrong
done this,
hand.
but you know, I mean,
My left arm hurts. All of it hurts.
a lot of, like Ernie said, hey man, before you know it, it'll be done. Like what? It goes quick. 1 hour goes quick.
Yeah, I mean, really, it was only a 30-minute show, but Burning Desire has added another 20 minutes to the show. I'd say we're probably about 42 minutes in, and I don't even know, but I'm used to this gig. So as I go turn off this computer, can you hum a song? Anything? And he may or may not do it. I don't know. I've just set him up, okay?
Little lamb. Catch one of our shows. Thank you, Ed.